That's because it came from my machine, yeah. So you're not meant to go in here yourself. So, yeah, it's 7 o'clock, on the nose.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the town council meeting for the town of Munster for the regular meeting for December 16th to order. And with that, I would like the roll call, please.
Counselor Schinkin.
Here.
Counselor Hopper.
Here.
Counselor Gardner.
Present.
Counselor Peterson.
Here.
Counselor Nellens.
Present. With that, I'd like to ask that we all rise for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The next item on the agenda is a public hearing for additional appropriations. And with that, Chris, you want to give a little explanation?
Council had first read on this ordinance at their last meeting, and at that time, we were seeking additional appropriations in 3 different funds. Since that meeting, we got our preliminary report on what our budget for 2025 will be. We got the last of the bills, most of the last of the bills paid for the year. And in our final review, we found that we do not need to get an additional appropriation in the general fund. So it's just 2 funds, the Consumer Water Deposit Fund and the Technology Fund, that we're seeking an additional appropriation. What needs to happen is a public hearing, and then later in the meeting, adoption of the ordinance, and then we'll submit the information to DLGF.
All right, thank you. So what I'm going to do is open up the public hearing for the additional appropriations. And then following that, we will have our general open to the public as we normally have in our meetings. So with that, I would like to open up the public hearing for anyone that would like to speak on additional appropriations tonight. Is there anyone who'd like to come forward and speak on the additional appropriations? Seeing no one, I will close that open to the public. And then we'll be voting on that later on in the meeting. And that takes us up to our open to the public session. It's limited to 2 minutes with a total of 20 minutes allotted for that public comment section. All speakers must sign in on the public speaker sign-in form prior to speaking. Please keep all comments civil, constructive, and related to public policy issues. At their discretion, the council may allow public comment to extend past 20 minutes, but it is not required to do so. All rules for public comment are posted outside the meeting room, which have been set and approved by the state of Indiana. So with that, I'd like to open up the open to the public session. Anyone that would like to speak, please come forward. Make sure you've signed in and state your name.
Yeah,
Name and address, I'm sorry.
Sit down here. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Greg Starsvich. I've been to these meetings a few times. Talking about the speeding that goes through my neighborhood. I live in between Azalea and Camellia. They're like super highways. Because of the infrastructure that Munster has done with the 45th thing and all that, the traffic is just cutting through because it's a shortcut. Now, you guys put 1 stop sign out there, so I'll give you credit for that. But you know what 1 stop sign does? Almost causes an accident because they don't even slow down. Now, if you guys have ever been to like the east side, North Hammond, Hegewisch, Whiting, Robertsdale, East Chicago, they have stop signs at every corner. That's how they control speeding. People can't speed because of that. And the reason why is because there's people like you, me, these people back here that do stop. even if you're slowing down, if it's a slow roll, you're stopping these people from going 35 plus down these streets. And I would just say, if you put it on, there's Camellia there, start it off, put it at every corner. You're also gonna have to do something with Azalea. Put your, raised walkways there. I don't know how many thousands of dollars those cost. They barely slow down for that. And you don't even have stop signs there, yet they're marked for people to cross the street. Put some stop signs at every corner, and I'll bet you in 6 months, these people won't be speeding through there. They'll stay on the main streets. Give it a try. That's all I'm asking. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Bob Thomas. I live at 8445 Manor Avenue in Munster, and I have 2 items on my mind. One is, at the last meeting I attended, we talked about the water rates, and in particular, why do multi-unit housing pay more for their water? And I'm wondering if there's an answer for that, Councilman Nellis.
I do not have an answer at this time, but we will work with the clerk treasurer's department.
Okay, do you want me to just work directly with the clerk treasurer then?
Sure.
So there with you, Wendy?
It's okay. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Second thing is, I wanted to, something was brought to my attention about an accident that happened last year where a young lady from Dyer was killed when she walked across the train tracks in Hedgeworth at the Hedgeworth station. And I realized there was a lot of mitigating circumstances, but after the fact, crossing gates were put up to discourage people from crossing when there is train approaching. So I don't want a similar issue to happen in Munster where we don't have a safety fence on the east side of the tracks on Manor Avenue. Sorry, west side of the tracks on Manor Avenue, and I don't want to have to do something after the fact. So I would like the councilman to consider again, putting up a chain link fence to discourage children from trespassing. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, council. My name is Jim Clark. I'm at 8306 Oakwood. I know this has been brought up before, but we've been there 7 years now, and I think we've had 3 water main breaks on that same water main between Oakwood and Castle Drive, the most recent one a couple of weeks ago. And I know there's somewhat of a plan to replace water mains, but can you tell me if there's anything to save us from flooded backyards? At least in that neighborhood. Any plans afoot?
Yes, we are working on some plans of water main breaks. We've got a map that shows where they're all at. And we're looking to see what sections we have to do and how much it's gonna run us. But yes, we do have a plan, and sorry for your water main breaks. We've had a number of them based on the weather, and they can happen at any time.
Okay, and when would that plan be rolled out? I know it's based on budget. and
Well,
other-
Based on budget,
Yeah.
we're, Public Works is working on that right now. So
Mhm.
we'll have, we're studying it and then looking at the pricing and then looking at the budget, so. Unfortunately, it won't be real fast, but it'll be during this next year, early on.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Hi, I'm Mike Engler, 113 Beverly Place, Munster. And I'm here to just say, congratulations to all of us. The Beverly Parkway project has been completed. I want to thank you. I want to thank Public Works on behalf of our committee and all the people who live in the neighborhood. You've worked with us since June. We've reported back. We've got feedback. We've got more feedback. And we really appreciate everything that you guys and the council have done for us in the support and listening to the citizens. So promises made, promises kept. Thank you all very much.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. We've got everything in the ground, and we'll have to settle it in this winter, and come spring, things should.
That's right. There's about 30 plants out there, service berries and bushes, and actually it's gonna look really nice again.
Good.
So, yeah, thanks.
Very good. You're welcome. Thank you.
Good evening to you. My name is Margaret Persin, 1157 Bluebird Lane. And my comment is regarding the raised grant for the Ridge Road improvement. I understand that the amended grant was not accepted. And I would like to find information on that. I think people of the town would like to know the status of that, so that they could have some input.
Well, I won't say that it wasn't accepted. We didn't get the green flag, and we've been given the drawings back to work them over. And there's certain items that they're looking for.
Is there somewhere the residents of Munster can see that information?
There's,
Right now, there's work going on at our design engineer firm to try to match and there's conversations with them in Federal Highway to come to that conclusion. So I don't have a document sitting here in town hall anywhere that I could hand to show where you could see what the back and forth that's happening right now. At some point, Federal Highway will come back to us and tell us either you need to do this or that. But I don't have a document that I could hand to you to show you exactly where things are at this moment.
I understand that. I'm just asking that residents be informed of where we are at with the grant. And if it's coming back, I would take that as it's denied, but you're saying differently. I'm just asking for the residents to be
Right.
informed.
If I may,
Sure.
it was not, we submitted the information as was requested based on what was passed at a meeting with council passed and said this is what they would like to submit as their preferred preliminary alternative. Federal Highway came back and said, we need to see these other pieces of data, crash analysis, predictive analysis, this type of thing that has to be run through their specific software. That's what's going on right now. So it wasn't yes, it wasn't no, it was, you have a little more homework to do. And that's where we are right now with it.
Okay, just wanted to see where residents could get that information.
Again, I don't have data or
It's a
something.
$17 million contract, and I
Understood.
think it's important to, for people to know what's going on.
Understood.
The transparency part of it.
Right. And if I had documents, we would certainly be sharing them. Right now, it's being handled by our design engineer firm, running through this software to do this analysis that they have asked us for, that Federal Highway has.
I understand that, but there's things that have transpired since the original, or I should say the amended contract. And those are the things that I think the residents would like to see. I could not find the amended grant online anywhere.
That amendment has not been finalized. That amendment that council authorized us to submit went to Federal Highway, and that's going through a similar process. It now is waiting for what happens with this other analysis before we can finalize that.
Okay, I'm asking what you sent for the grant to be online and available and transparent to residents.
That was included at a council meeting, and on one of their agendas. It was in October, and I don't know where it sits, if it's on separately in the,
Yes, I did see it on the
Project.
agenda, but I did not see the document.
okay. I thought that it was there. I'll look into getting it so that.
I
it
could
is
be wrong as
back
well,
on it.
but I could not find it online.
It was in there. I'll look to see what I can do to get it put on there. If it's not, I thought that it was, but I can verify that.
Okay,
all
thank
right.
you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who'd like to come forward in the open to the public session? Anyone else would like to come forward in the open to the public session? Seeing that one, I will close the open to the public session, and that takes us on to the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to pass consent agenda.
Council President, I'd like to ask that the acceptance of the surety bonds that are included on the consent agenda be removed for a future meeting. So would you like to amend your motion?
Yeah, I'd like to amend, I'd like to, make a motion to pass the consent agenda, taking out the security bonds.
A second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion, questions, comments? Seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. That takes us on to old business. And that takes us up to ordinance 1973, additional appropriation.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve introduced ordinance 1973 as amended.
A second.
All right, do we have any further comments, questions? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. That takes us up to ordinance 1974, amendment number 5 to the 2024 salary ordinance.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 1974 on second reading as amended.
Second.
We have second. Any further questions, comments? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. That takes us up to new business, resolution 2145, RHS plan and update.
This is for the retirement health savings plan. This is something that got implemented earlier this year. Under IRS guidelines, we have to define specific groups that can participate in it. The department heads have asked that they be able to form a group. They have agreed at a 2% contribution that they would each make. This is something that's can be very beneficial to the employees to set aside funds for when they retire that can be used for their health savings needs, including paying premiums on health insurance. So council's asked to adopt the resolution allowing for that group to be added.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution 2145 as presented.
I'll second that.
Any questions, comments? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. Takes us up to item B, resolution 2146, transfer from park to parkland non-reverting fund.
So the property on Manor Avenue, when Nick D came in to do their, the train project, they had to purchase that land that the town owned. It was actually owned by the park department, so they received some $396,000 for that. Park Board wants to use that for a future park development or major park improvement. We were required to put it initially into the park operating fund. We would like to move it into the parkland escrow fund, which has a restriction on it that can only be used for future parks or park improvements. Park Board already adopted a resolution asking that this be allowed to happen, and now we're asking council to adopt a resolution so that we can make the transfer.
So it's really a housekeeping function to a certain
Yes.
extent.
Yes, so that we need the council to say that that's what they want to have happen.
And I'll make that motion to approve resolution 2146 as presented.
We have a motion. Do we have support?
I'll second.
Any further questions, comments on this item?
Yeah, it's a parallel issue, I guess, but it's something I think we need to address. And with this property, then this property is where the parking lot is. But are we going to be involved in any kind of operation of that parking lot or maintenance of that parking lot?
There will be maintenance.
Okay, I guess that's where I only call this attention now. I think we need to make sure we review this from a staff level and that we make sure we have this when the train station opens up in the spring of 2025, that we're able to bring this into our maintenance operation as much as we can. And so we're preparing for that.
And there have been conversations at the staff level about will it be staff that does that, will we contract someone out to do it? We're looking at those options as well as we're looking at what all those options are because they are, especially in public works, they're very aware that this
Okay,
is coming.
and that was my concern. I just don't want to get into the spot where it's May of this year, grass is starting to grow, plants are starting growing, and all of a sudden now we're saying, well, we thought somebody else was gonna do that. So,
Right, that's,
Staff has been talking about it.
perfect. Thank you very much. That's my only comment.
okay. Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes,
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. That takes us up to item C, which is resolution 2147 regarding the interim town manager.
This is a resolution that would continue the interim town manager agreement. There are some things in there that we've contemplating, some other updates, changes that can be made that can help improve communications and things that we'll be looking at to be implementing at the beginning of the year. This also was included in the amendment to the 2020, the last amendment to the salary ordinance. We included this resolution number in it so that it's covered in that. It will also eventually have to get into the 25 salary ordinance.
I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 2147 as presented.
I second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further questions, comments?
my question is, have we reached out or reached back out to Baker Tilly for the executive search for the town manager? And are we moving forward with that now?
Yes, I spoke with them most recently today. Reviewing some language, there was talk about updating the job description, and that ultimately will come to council to look at as well. The plan is to have it posted at the beginning of January. She felt that posting it now with the holidays, and that it was really better to wait to the beginning of January. Reviewed the compensation package, updated how that's worded. But the posting will go out then. She's also talked about we could do it on a rolling basis, whereas the initial time we had a group of the applications come in at once. This time we're going to do it where it's rolling, and when she comes across ones that seem to be more, that are more in keeping, she'll forward them on, and so we can keep the process moving a little bit more quickly.
So the date of May 23rd is not a date that we're waiting until the hire of town manager. This is, we're trying to expedite with efficiency.
It's, right, she anticipates 6 months. I asked her, I said, is 6 months reasonable to expect? And she said, yes, 6 months to run through the entire process. That's part of where that date is coming from.
Okay.
June is also another particularly difficult month in terms of things that are going on in the world of clerk treasurers and controllers. That's what's driving that date.
Thank you. And I'm not sure if maybe you took it out of a previous.
It was updated from what went out over the weekend. It's an updated version now.
I guess I implore the council here to really look at the time management part of this whole thing. The most important part that we have with staff is their time. And the more that we take our staff away from the time that they do to serve the residents, and that we interrupt them. And I'm as much fault as anybody else here. You know, I always say you have 5 minutes, and that 5 minutes ends up being 25 minutes. And I think it's those type of things that we have to be very careful with, especially with Tricia and other department heads. Because like I said, I'm as much fault as the next person. But when I say, hey, you got 5 minutes, let's keep that 5 minutes. Because there's truly work that they have to be doing. And the 5 minutes that becomes 25 minutes becomes a wasted hour for them, because now you've interrupted what they've done, and now they have to get back to what they do. So again, I think we're at a spot now where this has been going on for a year. I think there's a lot of, there's been disruption, but again, I think we have talented staff that were able to keep the ship going in the right direction. But I guess I just want to just kind of warn council, as much as we can keep staff doing what staff should be doing, the better off we're going to be. And really minimize the disruptions that we provide to them.
Absolutely, Councilor Gardner, but also keep in mind that we get tagged by residents that want to know about something, and the only way we can find out is by talking to one of the staff members. But I agree with you, keep it to a minimum, be aware of their time and constraints, so. Any other comments, questions? And again, we're certainly pulling to find a town manager, and we'll have those updates for the council to review, so. Seeing no others, please call the roll.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. That takes us up to item D, ordinance 1975, group transfers.
This is a housekeeping item, has to do with how the budget and how things are classified within the budget, and we're required to, there are certain transfers that we make that we're required to have council approval. We ask you to have first reading this evening, second reading in January. That way we are able to capture all the transfers that happen by the end of the year, because there will be more. And to be clear, this isn't changing the net amount in any budget. It's just saying, hey, we needed more in supplies as opposed to services, that type of thing. But the overall budget in every fund is remaining the same.
Mr. President, I would ask, make a motion to consider ordinance 1975 on first reading and schedule second reading in January 2025.
Do we have support?
I second.
All right. Any further questions, comments? Again, this is something that we do on a regular basis every year, and this is something that's required by the state of Indiana. So.
Statutory.
Statutory, yes. Please call the roll.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. Takes us up to item E, the 2025 non-health insurance renewal.
So this is all of those other insurances besides medical, dental, vision, and life insurance. This is what covers our property, our workers' comp, the methane generator, cybersecurity, all of those things. We've had a good year in terms of claims and the losses. The average, it has been around 7 to 9%. We're at 6% of an increase. The two main areas that had increases were property, because we have more vehicles now, and workers' comp because payroll costs have gone up. This is a self-funded program. We have money set aside to pay for the premiums and to pay for the claims, except for those things that go in beyond a certain level, and then we have a different insurance that will kick in. So we're asking for council to authorize finding of coverage for the 2025 program.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the interim town manager to bind coverage for the liability insurance program as presented in the 2025 proposal for insurance.
I'll second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further questions, comments? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. That takes us up to item F, approval of third-party claims processing.
This is a contract that the town, we're in the 4th of 5 years with Gallagher. They handle all of the claims processing related to what council just asked. They're asking just that council approve what the rates will be. This again goes back to the contract and the amounts that were listed at that time.
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the pricing and signature by the interim town manager for the 2025 liability third-party claims administrator Gallagher Bassett.
I second.
Second and support. Any questions, comments on this? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. That takes us up to item G, change order number 3 on the 2024 paving and water main work.
So part of this contract was to connect back up new service lines when the new water main went in. When the project was put together, the belief was that they were all of the same, all the service lines were the same size. When they actually got in there and were doing the work, discovered that they had service lines of all different sizes. So there's additional cost associated with getting those service lines back connected.
All right, do we have motion on this?
I would make a motion to approve the change order number 3 in the amount of $185,564.65 for varying water service sizes for a new project cost of $5,421,664.98 for the 2024 paving and water main project.
I second.
All right, we have a motion, we have support. Any further questions, comments? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. That takes us up to item H, change order number 4 in the 2024 paving and water main contract.
So this is the same project. Originally, there were planned to have raised crosswalks, and 5 of them were eliminated. So there's a reduced cost because of that. Associated with those were also some trench gates. Now those were purchased, can't be returned. Public Works has those now down at the garage. They will be able to use them at some future project.
I bet they will.
I would make a motion that the town council approves a decrease in the price of $46,038 for change order number 4 for the removing of 5 raised crosswalks from the job for a new project cost of $5,375,626.98 for the 2024 paving and water main project.
I'll second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further questions, comments? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. That takes us up to item I, update on Title VI implementation plan.
The original Title VI implementation plan was put into place in 2017. This is mandated by NDOT for us to get funding. This talks about commitment to non-discrimination in programs and policies. We're required to review the plan every year, update it as needed, and council is not asked to approve the updated version.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the amended Title VI implementation plan for 2025.
I'll second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further questions? Comments? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. That takes us up to item J, update to ADA transition plan.
This is similar to the previous item, only it relates to American with Disability Acts and how we're working towards improving so we can meet those requirements.
Council President, I'd like to make that motion and approve the amended 2025 ADA transition plan.
A second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further questions, comments? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. That takes us up to K, the 2025 LIT expenditure plan.
This is the LIT Economic Development Fund, not to be mistaken with the LIT Public Safety Fund. There's a requirement that we submit to the county every year what our spending plan is for the next year. The first 34% that comes out of this goes towards the West Lake extension. That was a commitment that this town made many years ago. We also will be using the fund for lobbying services, design services for the bridge that will go over the ditches into Highland, the zoning code rollback costs, and betterments along the West Lake extension. We've also left in an item to be determined in terms of the amount that would permit the fund to be used for any of the statutorily designated uses.
All right. We have a motion.
Mr. President, I would make a motion to approve the 2025 LIT capital expenditure plan as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further questions, comments? Please call the roll.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. That takes us up to item L. And that is chamber proposal.
The Munster Chamber of Commerce has approached the town. Next year is their 100th anniversary, and they would like to have a program where they do banners along Calumet Avenue and Ridge Road. So they're asking permission to not only use the poles, but to have public works staff assist in getting them placed and removed. They'll follow all the required code that the town has related to it. There will not be a cost for the banners to the town. That's going to be handled by those individual businesses who do choose to purchase and participate in the program.
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the installation and removal of the street banners as outlined in a proposal dated November 25th, 2024 from the Munster Chamber of Commerce.
I second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further comments, questions?
No, I think this is great. I think we should extend it to the school town of Munster, the BFW, FOP, like hometown heroes, and you know what? Do what other towns do. Promote.
Moat.
Mr. President, I see Katie Sanito and Karen Mashura back in the audience, and I want to congratulate the Chamber on their 100th anniversary. They do wonderful work. As we all know, they just finished up the, and I get this right, business small crawl, as I've been told. I call it the small business crawl, but it was 28 businesses here in Munster. And I ran into a number of friends and neighbors who took advantage of going out and visiting all those businesses. What the chamber does for Munster is wonderful, so I think this is fantastic. Thank you.
I would certainly agree. Any other comments? I just like to mention that the last time the banners hung up on the Ridge Road was in 2007 with the centennial of the town. So we'll have to see where the brackets are, what we have to do to help them, but I certainly support that we help them, and I like the idea of having the hometown heroes set that up. But we've got this in front of us, so this is what we're voting on to help work with the chamber. Please call the roll.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. That takes us up to item M, which is the reorganization of the town council, redevelopment commission, which I believe we're going to do at that time. And any appointments to boards and commissions that we're prepared to do at this time. So the first thing we'll do is the reorganization of the council, and that is for effective January 1.
Yes.
So we'll open the floor for nominations.
I'd like to nominate George Schinkin for president of council.
I'll second that motion.
George, do you accept
I accept.
the nomination?
Do we have any other nominations?
I'll make the motion to close the nominations then.
Do we need to take a vote, or is it effective?
Always like a vote.
Then I'll call. for the vote.
Mr.
We
Gardner
don't-
moved to close nomination. So there should be a second.
We don't necessarily need a motion, correct, for nominations.
But you only had one nomination, right?
So-
So no, you didn't, but he made it, so.
Made it, so finish it,
So I second it.
okay. All right, I will counsel, and we are voting to close the nominations, and then
Then you would vote on.
we'll vote on Schinkin.
Like, I'm
Counselor.
sorry. You're on. Yeah, go ahead.
Too late. Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes,
All right, and now we vote on the nomination of Counselor Schinkin as the 2025 Town Council President. So this is a yes or no. Counselor Schinkin,
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
yes.
Then the floor goes. Opens it up for
So
nominations.
the next is opening up the floor for nominations for the vice president.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Joe Hopper for vice president.
I'll second that motion.
Don't necessarily need, it's a nomination, right?
Yeah, he made a nomination for Mr. Hopper. The question would be if there's any other nominations for the office of vice president.
Are there any other nominations for the office of vice president?
And does Counselor Hopper accept the nomination?
I do, yes.
And now we can go to a voice vote.
You can do a motion to close nominations and elect Mr. Hopper.
All in one?
Yeah.
Gentlemen?
I'll make a motion to close nominations.
You can't,
You can't.
anyone else,
I'll make a motion to accept the nomination. What is it?
to close
Close
nominations and appoint
nominations.
Mr.
And
Hopper
appoint
as
Mr.
vice
Hopper
president.
as vice president.
We need a second.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Now you only need one vote. That's much better.
Okay. And that was Chuck Gardner. Okay. And we're ready for the vote. Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes. So we'll do the redevelopment commission during that meeting.
I know we
Talked about
this, that's for the presidency and vice presidency of the redevelopment, but we still need to appoint them.
the members.
The council has to appoint the membership of. So the council president appoints 3 members to the redevelopment commission, and then the rest of the council nominates 2 additional people. It's the way it works. So council president, yes.
So I'll appoint Jonathan Peterson, Chuck Gardner, and Joe Hopper to the redevelopment commission for a 1-year term.
Very good.
Okay. Now, can I make a motion that I'd like to make a motion for Dave Nellens and George Schinkin to be also named on the redevelopment commission?
I'll second that.
All right. So that was a motion. We have a second,
That's correct.
and we're ready to vote.
That's correct. Yes.
All right. Counselor Schinkin.
Yes.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes,
So that is our redevelopment commission for 2025. Then during the redevelopment commission meeting, that's when we pick a president and vice president. Correct?
Of the redevelopment.
Of the redevelopment commission,
But beginning January 1st.
effective January 1st. We only do this once a year, so, you know.
all right, at this time, I can make a motion regarding,
You're not making a motion.
I'm making an appointment.
Yep.
Yes.
I'm making an appointment to the Hammond Sanitary District for Michael Hawkins. His term will expire on December 31st, 2024. On October 22nd, 2016, the town council president appointed Mike Hawkins as Munster's representative to the Hammond Sanitary District. Each appointment is for a 4-year term. So his term will begin January 1 of 2025 for 4 years. So that's an appointment, Mr. Hawkins.
Did you choose to accept it?
Should you choose to accept it?
You better.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
That's that business.
January first meeting.
That's Mike Hawkins accepting.
Yes.
That's it.
All right, that takes us up to reports. Are there any reports tonight?
We have one other item on the agenda, which is the 2025 Town of Munster regular meeting
I'm
schedule.
sorry.
That's okay.
And the meeting schedule is the same, with one exception, which is that town council meetings will begin at 6:30 PM instead of 7, beginning in January.
Need a motion and a second to approve these dates?
No,
I don't
just-
think so.
No,
needs to be-
this is just
It's just.
This is the public notice.
the
So-
public notice. All right, then that takes us up to reports. Any reports from anyone tonight? Any portfolio reports?
I just want to make a quick announcement that, a couple months ago, we talked about potentially the town doing an RFP for communication services. There is a draft that was sent to the council this past weekend. If you could please review that draft. It is certainly a draft form, so there's going to be additions to that, but please look that over and get that back. That would be much appreciated, so we can at least potentially discuss this in the month of January. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilor Gardner.
Thank you.
May I have a second? Just, a week or so ago, the Munster Civic Foundation, the Munster Parks Department, and the Munster Chamber of Commerce collaboratively held a tree lighting in the front of Town Hall. It was a very, very cold evening. However, the community came out and supported the event. And we estimate over 1,000 people were there. We had a follow-up meeting this morning. We're looking forward to doing it again in 2025. And again, with the same partners. And it should be just another, it's a great tradition that we've started. This will be our 5th year, so.
It was a very nice evening.
I would like to say the decorations of town hall and around town hall, or around town is an excellent work.
Yeah, and public works. I'm sorry, Bob. I apologize.
job.
Yeah, Public Works does a lot for it. So, yes. So it was a very nice event, well attended, nice event.
Thank you very much. That takes us up to announcements. All town council meetings will begin at 6:30 PM, starting with the January 6th, 2025 meeting, unless otherwise noted. With that, I'm looking for an adjournment.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. Thank you, folks, for coming out tonight. And we have one more meeting to conduct, and that's the Redevelopment Commission meeting. And we'll call that to order. We'll ask for the roll call.
Commissioner Schinkin.
Here.
Commissioner Hopper.
Here.
Commissioner Gardner.
Here.
Commissioner Peterson.
Here.
Commissioner Nellens.
Present.
And our liaison to the school town of Munster from the school board, Mr. John Castro.
Here I am.
Hi, John.
Hello there.
Thank you, John. All right, we've had the roll call. We do have an open to the public session. It has the same requirements as the first meeting. If anyone would like to come forward and address the redevelopment commission, this is the time to do that. So open the public session for the redevelopment commission. If there's anyone like to come forward to the open to the public session for the redevelopment commission? Seeing no one, will close the open to the public session. That takes us to the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to pass the consent agenda.
We have a motion,
I'll second.
we have support. Any questions, comments on the consent agenda? Daniel, please call the roll.
Commissioner Schinkin.
Yes.
Commissioner Hopper.
Yes.
Commissioner Gardner.
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson.
Yes.
Commissioner Nellens.
Yes. So there's no old business, no new business.
There is new business.
Commissioner, we get under new business, this is where we
Oh,
would.
yep.
Good.
So we'll be looking for a nomination for the president of the
Yes.
redevelopment commission.
Is
George.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, George Schinkin becomes is the chairman or president of this group?
I don't know that it really matters.
The president of this group,
And it's a nomination.
nominate, they say.
You said you make a motion. but
He's
you-
considered-
I nominate.
I'll second the nomination.
You don't want to.
Don't say that on public record.
Are there any other
Accept it.
nominations?
All right,
Seeing none?
so we need a motion to
Close the
close the
nomination.
nominations.
Appoint Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
I'd like to make a motion to close the nomination
And appoint.
and appoint
George Schinkin.
George Schinkin
As president.
as president of the redevelopment committee.
Commission.
Commission.
We vote on that first, right?
and we need a second.
I'll second that.
All right. Any other discussion? Would you like me to call?
Sure.
Okay, Commissioner Schinkin.
Yes.
Commissioner Hopper.
Yes.
Commissioner Gardner.
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson.
Yes.
Commissioner Nellens.
Yes. So now we open nominations for the vice president for the redevelopment.
So then I'll make a motion to appoint Joe.
You're just nominated,
Oh, okay.
but you gotta say it.
I said Joe Hopper.
Okay, I didn't hear that.
Okay. And then it's any others.
Are there any other nominations for vice president?
Joe, do you accept them?
I accept the nomination.
Okay, and now we need the motion to close nominations and
Appoint Mr. Hopper.
yes, and appoint,
Doctor.
yes,
I make a motion.
and that's George Jenkins.
Yeah.
Need a second?
We need a second.
I'll second that motion.
All right, so we have a motion and a second to close and appoint Joe Hopper as vice president to the redevelopment commission. Now we need discussion and
Any discussion, comments? Seeing none, we'll
all right,
for the vote.
Commissioner Schinkin.
Yes.
Commissioner Hopper,
Yes.
Commissioner Gardner.
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson.
Yes.
Commissioner Nellens.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
So we're done with the new business, no reports, any announcements? And I'll call for adjournment.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second that motion.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you very much.
Good meeting, guys.
Thank you very much, folks, for being here and wish you all a happy holiday season and a happy and strong new year next year.
I would like to, point of parliamentary procedure, I'd like to note my perfect timing tonight.
I know,
Yeah,
it
wow.
was fabulous.
Yeah, you're on, right on.
Right there, right there.
John, thank you always.
You're listening out in the parking lot.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
When the Bears game on the TV.
Yeah.
How bad's the game right now?
Is it? Thank you. You're welcome.
Good to see you guys. Yeah. No. Making right here. They're going last year. They were mom. Girls look like that.
I'll be in town.
So,
It's all, there's something wrong with it. So I'll take it out. Just bring the computer. There's something wrong with it. We don't know what to do. We found her in Lowell. Thank God we had a tracker on.
With my mom, we had to eventually say, hey, mom,
We can't.
you need to turn those keys over.
We can't.
What's wrong?
For the doctor, Dr. Bellner, telling us